When a WWE champion isn't 100% medically cleared but still insists on defending their title anyway, you're witnessing either incredible dedication to the business or absolute stupidity masquerading as courage. In Tiffany Stratton's case, it might be both, and WWE just revealed the main reason why the women's champion might be walking into Saturday night's main event with one arm tied behind her back, metaphorically speaking, which could explain why everyone and their mother seems to think Tiffy Time is about to come to a screeching halt against Jade Cargill. Let's rewind and break down what's actually happening here, because that clickbait headline makes it sound like WWE held a press conference to announce why Stratton must lose her match, when in reality the story is way more nuanced and interesting than some predetermined corporate decision. During a backstage segment on SmackDown, Aldis, the general manager who somehow makes being reasonable look like the hardest job in wrestling, was walking with WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton and dropping some concerning news. Aldis revealed that Stratton wasn't 100% medically cleared ahead of Saturday night's main event. That's wrestling code for "you're hurt but not hurt enough that we're legally obligated to stop you from competing." It's the gray area where wrestlers live most of their careers, performing through pain and injuries that would send normal humans to the emergency room. But here's where Tiffany Stratton showed she's either incredibly brave or has the decision-making skills of someone who thinks jumping off a ladder onto a steel chair is a sensible career move. Despite not being fully cleared, Stratton immediately told Aldis that she wanted to proceed with the title defense anyway. No hesitation, no asking for more time to heal, just pure, "I'm the champion and I'm defending this title regardless of what my body is telling me" energy. That's the kind of mentality that makes wrestlers legends or leads to shortened careers, depending on how lucky they get with the injury gods. WWE letting her proceed with the match suggests they believe she's hurt but not dangerously so, at least not in a way that creates significant liability. This revelation came in the aftermath of an opening segment where Aldis had already told Stratton she couldn't put her hands on Jade Cargill. The reasoning was twofold: she had a title defense coming up at Saturday night's main event and she wasn't fully medically cleared. Telling a wrestler they can't touch their opponent before a big match is basically WWE's way of building anticipation while also protecting someone who might be working hurt. It's a creative solution to a real problem, using storyline restrictions to prevent additional injury before the actual match happens. But the plot thickened faster than a conspiracy theorist connecting dots on a corkboard when Kiana James and Women's United States Champion Julia interrupted Stratton's conversation with Aldis. James, apparently running some kind of protection racket like she's auditioning for a mob movie, told Stratton that she should have taken up the offer for protection services. Then James dropped the prediction that everyone watching was probably thinking. She anticipates Stratton will lose her WWE Women's Championship to Jade Cargill on Saturday. That's not just trash talk, that's legitimate analysis based on the circumstances. Stratton is working hurt, not fully medically cleared, and facing an opponent in Jade Cargill who's been on an absolute tear lately, unleashing a vicious new version of herself that's destroying everything in her path. The psychological and physical advantage both seem heavily tilted toward Cargill, which is exactly the kind of storytelling WWE does best when they're cooking with gas. Stratton continued to refuse James' offer of protection, because apparently the women's champion would rather get destroyed alone than accept help from someone running a backstage extortion scheme. That's when Julia chimed in with the kind of ominous warning that sounds cool but doesn't really make logical sense. She told Stratton that she won't be talking like that tomorrow or talking at all. So Julia is predicting that Jade Cargill is going to beat Stratton so badly she loses the ability to speak? That's either hyperbole or Julia knows something about Jade's new moveset that involves targeting vocal cords. The segment continued with a confrontation between Chelsea Green, Alba Fire, and the duo of Kiana James and Julia, because apparently SmackDown's women's division decided to have all their business in the same hallway at the same time. Chelsea Green was concerned that her status as the longest reigning United States champion, a record she's incredibly proud of and won't shut up about, was coming to a close. Green wanted her title back and was looking to disrupt Julia's chance at breaking that record. Aldis, playing the role of exhausted dad dealing with too many daughters fighting at once, informed Chelsea that's not how title shots work. You can't just show up demanding championship matches because you're worried about your place in the record books. But Julia, being either incredibly confident or slightly insane, seemed more than happy to give Chelsea a title shot. So next week on SmackDown, those two will be facing off in what should be a banger of a match assuming Green doesn't get distracted by her own reflection mid-match. But let's circle back to the real story here, Tiffany Stratton defending her women's championship while not being 100% medically cleared. This is a tricky situation that WWE has created, intentionally or not, where they've basically telegraphed that Stratton is walking into this match at a significant disadvantage. In wrestling storytelling, that usually means one of two things. Either the champion overcomes the odds in an inspiring underdog victory that makes them look incredibly tough, or they lose the title because they weren't physically ready and their opponent capitalized on that weakness. Many fans and analysts believe that Stratton's dominant reign as women's champion is finally set to come to an end at Saturday night's main event. The pieces are all there for a title change. Stratton is hurt. Jade Cargill has been built up as an unstoppable force with a new aggressive edge. The storyline has positioned Cargill as having every advantage going into this match. When WWE stacks the deck that heavily against a champion, it usually means they're setting up a title change that feels earned rather than surprising. But here's where wrestling gets interesting, because sometimes WWE does all that setup just to swerve everyone and have the champion retain in a way that makes them look even stronger. Stratton winning while working hurt would elevate her to a new level of respect in fans' eyes, proving she's not just a pretty face with a money-in-the-bank briefcase, but a legitimate fighting champion who can overcome adversity. That's the kind of storytelling that creates stars and memorable championship reigns. The psychological warfare aspect of this feud heavily favors Jade Cargill at the moment. She's been dominant, aggressive, and has shown a vicious streak that suggests she's not just looking to win, she's looking to hurt Stratton in the process. When your opponent is already working injured and not fully cleared, that psychological edge becomes even more significant. Cargill knows Stratton is compromised, which gives her confidence and allows her